All right, we are back for another episode of the Almost Monthly podcast with another one of 300 plus employees. You ready to go, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's get this started.
What about me?
Oh,
Oh,
well, this will be a fun episode. Let's go.
what's my idea?
All right, welcome. Today we have Mr. John Priest with us. John, you are a service. No, say it again.
Specialized support consultant. I'm
Is it
sorry.
because Amy's here?
I think it is, and I'm also not used to talking into lights and a microphone. But yeah,
Other than that, just another
specialized
Thursday.
support consultant. That's long for behavior specialist.
And in layman's terms, describe that role.
There's a lot of people that we serve here at the county. Obviously, Lucas County is a large county. So there are some people that we serve that might have emotional or behavioral support needs. So our job is to kind of go in and assess what those concerns or needs are to help teach them skills to kind of overcome those and become more independent, as well as to teach providers and family members as well. We go into schools, places of work, just kind of anywhere that we're needed to help them become more resilient and carry on with life.
Good stuff. Amy Priest, of course, the assistant superintendent here at the board, back for her second go at Lucas DD. A little more than a year, right?
Yep, I just hit my year anniversary last week.
And aside from being assistant to the superintendent or assistant role to the superintendent, tell folks other departments that you oversee at the board.
I currently oversee the IT department, the capital projects department, the children's department, and the project manager, as well as community inclusion.
Got it. Amy, originally from neighboring Fremont, Ohio. Graduate
Go
of
Little
Ross High
Giants.
Go Little Giants. Did you cross paths with Mr. Charles Whitson, or was that pre-post?
He is actually a year or two younger than me, so we would have been in the same building together my junior year of high school. I did not really know him very well, but we did go to school together.
And now there's a statue of the guy.
There is a statue. We
I've
have seen
the
it.
statue.
You've seen
Yeah.
the statue. Okay.
Mhm.
How did that come to?
Well, her mother's
Just
home
the-
used to be near there, so
Mm.
when we'd bring our dogs up, we'd walk past it and say I saw it, but I'm not a Michigan fan, so wasn't as endearing, but
Still cool to see.
it was still cool to see. So,
But he is a Fremont Ross Little Giants fan. Go Little Giants.
of course I am.
Okay, so your first go around at the board was
In 2010, I was an SSA, and I worked there for 3 years in the SSA department in the gym.
and John started in 2000.
Oh,
I believe,
wow.
Right?
It was
He doesn't know.
25 years ago, a little over 25 years ago.
I just want to say if that would be 2000. Just for
It
the-
would be. I was like a substitute staff, I think, in '99.
okay,
So
okay.
that, even in the 1900s, that's how long ago.
Okay. And so 2010, Amy joins the board. How did your paths cross initially?
Really, she was just. We didn't have really any cases together, did we? Any
I don't think
people
so.
that we really shared, but just kind of, noticed her throughout the building.
Okay.
So
He was actually housed in the trailer that used to sit outside of the gym back then. And my cubicle was right inside of the door that the folks from the gym would have to come into to attend meetings or use the bathroom because there was no bathroom in the trailer. So he would walk past all the time.
Okay. You're leaving us hanging here. We all want to know how did you meet? What happened?
Well, I think it was actually there was
A phone call, text message, an email.
I'm going to let John respond, and then I'll correct his
here we
answer.
go.
Wow.
And then he'll correct her.
Well, there was an initial assessment, of course, that had to be done. So I think they were celebrating somebody's birthday. It was like a night out somewhere at a local spot.
I don't think I know this story.
Yeah, you were there.
Weren't you there?
Yeah, but I didn't know that I was being assessed.
She was there with some of her friends. It was for somebody's birthday.
Okay.
And Bridget Varengia, who used to work for the board, she was always trying to find me a date,
Okay.
Yeah, so she went over and she sat by Amy and she was asking her questions and then signaling me thumbs up off to her side, which is probably completely noticeable, but it's just Bridget. So she'd ask questions like, she likes dogs. She wants, so she would she was doing that all night long. She's like, you totally should ask her out. So then I think there was one night on for Facebook Messenger. I think that was
Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
I think the young people call that in my DMs, maybe.
maybe that's what they call it. But back then, Facebook Messenger was hip. So, and then things took off from there. We had a first date at, was it Biaggi's?
Biaggi's.
Oh,
yes. We sat up at the bar and the bartender was pouring a drink and squirted beer all over my shirt.
Yep.
So
It's all a true story.
And then, of course, once she got to know me, then that was it.
Come on now.
I can share a fun story about when we first started dating. Not that this is about John and I. But when I told my mother about John, she was like, I knew someone so John is from Bryan.
That's right.
Williams County.
Yep.
And my mom said, I knew someone from that area. And actually, this is the first time that you met her.
That's his first time. It's a little intimidating because Amy's the youngest of 7. So her mom's been through this before, right? And I'm about to meet the, matriarch of the family. So she comes in the apartment and she's very nice. Yeah, she's kind of like, well, I knew somebody from Bryan or Williams County. And she starts kind of mispronouncing the last name a little bit. But I'm like, well, that's my grandmother. So,
wow.
Yeah. Because they had both gone to nursing school together in like the 60s.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it was like
so your
50s.
mom and
my mom and John's grandmother went to
Wow.
nursing school together at Mercy College in Toledo.
Yeah, it was on Collingwood back in the day. And so yeah, eventually we had this reunited scene, kind of like an Oprah moment from Oprah. We brought them out together and they were kind of like, I kind of remember you. But then they
my mom really remembered his grandmother, but I'm not sure that your grandmother remembered my mom as much as she remembered her. But then there was another third friend in there also who I think your grandmother remembered her more. Agnes, my mom's friend.
I think so. They eventually had a day they sat together, shared pictures and stories. So that was nice.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So then John was obligated to stay with me because of that connection.
Wow.
It's fate. What are the odds?
What are the odds? All thanks to, what was your colleague's name that insisted you ask Amy out?
That was Bridget.
Bridget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still communicate?
I saw her
Was
yesterday.
she at your wedding?
Yes. I'm trying to think. Yes, of course she was. I remember that day. It's like it was yesterday. But yeah, she works at LDC now, so she's moved on.
So as alluded to, you're up in Bryan,
Mm-hmm.
just down the whatever road you take to get to Bryan.
You take the turnpike kind of off there.
Well, turnpike, yeah, of course. Known, of course, Dum Dum Suckers. You also said Etch-a-Sketch, which I did not know was a Bryan original.
It was. Yeah, in Bryan, you had a few things growing up. One was the Spangler Candy Company, Dum Dum Suckers, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And the other was Ohio Art, which made the Etch-a-Sketch. And if you were around the era, the Jordan Jammer. So they had a license for a Michael Jordan product too. That was
Really?
around. It was like a, on the door basketball kind of thing. But yeah, so a lot of famous industry where I'm from.
Right. And then you choose to go to UT.
Right. So I think you'll find this theme in a lot of choices in my life. And it's like, okay, I'll go that direction. I didn't do a lot of college campus visits.
Okay.
I just had uncles that went to UT, and I said, oh, that's a nice place. I think I'll go there. I was going to study international business and minor in Japanese because I'm so old that
Another fun fact I was not aware of.
well, like today, the big trades with China, back
Right.
in the 80s,
90s,
early
yeah.
90s, it was Japan.
Japan,
And
right.
so that was going to become this business mogul.
Right.
But then I started college and I'm like, I don't like any of these classes. And so then I changed majors, at which I made, a very astute, assessed decision. I said, hey, what classes are you taking? With a couple of my friends. And they're like, well, we're taking psychology. I was like, well, that sounds interesting. I'll take that.
Okay.
So that's kind of where things went with that.
Gotcha. And then you said out of college you started at Ann Grady, right?
Right. I started in Grady as direct care, which was interesting because I had no background whatsoever in that. I worked a nice job in the summertime while I was in college, construction rental.
Right.
And it was great. Got to play with all kinds of construction equipment and drive around big trucks and all that. But in college, there was a couple of girls who lived down the hall. And they said, hey, I work at this group home. There's no men who work there. There's some things that we can and can't do in the community with some of the guys because we're all women. So after a while, I was like, okay, I'll do it. And it was completely foreign. I remember the manager of the group home, Mary Haskins. She worked for Ann Grady. She was fantastic. Kind of ended up being like my second mother away from home.
Okay.
But I remember walking in, the other person who had been hired was from a nursing home. And she was looking at me, looking at that person, looking back at me like, what has HR given me? How long is this guy going to be here? And I remember the first week I was kind of like, oh my, I made myself stick it out. I said, 30 days. You're the one who volunteered to come work here.
Right.
They put the money in to train you. You owe them at least 30 days to figure out if you like this or not. And then I got to know the people and the job, and it became great. It's great.
And 30 days lasted how long?
It lasted several years.
Okay.
Eventually, I became once I graduated, they created a position for me as a coordinator in the community. And then I decided I wanted something a little bit more 9 to 5.
Okay.
So I did what all great people do. I quit without a plan before moving on, but I had enough vacation and sick time that I took about 5 months before applying for the county. I had a daily routine. When you're young, you don't really worry about anything.
Missed those
I had
days.
no income. I was living off this cashed out time.
We were not dating at this time.
No. I would get up. I still maintain my membership at the St. James Club, which I think just closed recently, but it was like a workout club.
Right.
A friend of mine would come up from Bowling Green. He'd work out under my membership. I'd stop at Meijer, buy some chicken salad, some bread, and like tapioca pudding. Well, I had a small budget,
Sure.
sure. And then we would go back to my place, play video games. He would take off, and that was pretty much and played softball for like 5 months. And then I'm like, I'm running out of money. I need to go somewhere. And Jennifer Cox, who was a SAS for the board, now she's a big shot at the Epilepsy Center.
Center, yeah, that's right.
She said, well, you should apply here. They'll hire you. And so then I did. Luckily, my housemate covered my rent for a month because I didn't really fully think that out. But yeah, and then I was with the board.
Speaking of interesting journeys, post Fremont Ross, where do you go?
I went to Tiffin University for my bachelor's degree.
Okay. Tiffin University, by the way, again, our crack research team. Famous alums include Gary Heminger, former marathon CEO in Findlay. Great story from the mailroom all the way to leading one of the largest oil companies. And Mr. Nate Washington, former NFL star and son, of course, of our friend Leisha Washington and provider support. But just talk about that experience at Tiffin.
Well, so I went to Tiffin with my best friend from high school, Nicole. And
So
we
that's
were,
what drew you to Tiffin, I assume.
yes.
Okay.
So we went to, she was actually a grade older than me. But back then you could graduate from high school early, easily. So I just had to take, I think, just government in the summer, and I could graduate because I had enough credits. So I did that, went to Tiffin. We lived on campus there, and I studied criminal justice was my major. And my hope was, I think, to be like a probation officer. I didn't ever want to be in law enforcement, but I was always very intrigued by like the courthouses and judges and attorneys and law.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think at the time I assumed that I would kind of go in the direction of maybe probation. And I thought that I could just get a degree and take a test to become a social worker. So I actually stopped attending school my junior year. I dropped out, but I dropped out for good reason. That was when I moved to South Carolina, and my sister at the time was a single parent in the Army, and she was going overseas for a year, and so I helped raise her children for a year while she was gone. And then after she transitioned back home and I came back to Ohio, I went back to Tiffin and finished out my degree then, and thought that I could just take that social worker license test like I had mentioned before. And when I called the social work board, they were like, yeah, you're not eligible to take the test. You have to have a degree in social work. And I was like, what? Nobody told me that. So lesson learned. But then I was working at Denny's, which I did throughout all of college, and got offered my first job in Toledo and moved here.
Which was?
Lucas County Task. So it is a case management agency for people involved in the courts.
Okay.
So I was hired in to do assessments, and I did diagnostic assessments for people on probation, for people in the county jail. I used to go to the county jail every week and go into their sober units on a couple of the different floors and do assessments for the inmates, and then I would send those assessments on to the judges, and they would use that as part of their sentencing. And I did many other jobs there too, but that's what I got hired in to do there.
Good deal. John, you have had a decorated 25-year career at the board, 2016 Lot Award winner, 2020, what a year. Our man here is Staff Person of the Year winner, 2020. But what caught my eye, again, our crack research team, if you could take me back to October 2017, you single-handedly organized a cookie bake-off contest because you were needing some cookies. Is that true?
There's some truth to that, yeah.
Some truth. Okay, can you explain what happened or how that came to be?
I think they were looking for different ways for morale boosting and things. I like cookies, so I just decided to have a cooking baking contest. I think I even spray painted a ladle. You could win the golden spatula. A spatula, yeah, right? So, and then people did. There was quite a few people who participated in that.
Okay.
I don't remember who won, but you know,
but you remember a lot of cookies.
I remember eating a lot of cookies,
okay.
Yes.
And of course, you are known for your many costumes, some of which certainly predate me, but I certainly remember the giant chicken when we came back from virtual to in the office. Yeah. Where did this love of costumes come from?
I feel like that era's kind of faded with age, but maybe it's a shame.
I think it's more of a era of weirdness than costumes, but
it could be. You know, I like kind of boosting morale, making people laugh sometimes, or just helping people at work relax a little bit. So yeah, we used to do some things. Like Andrew Jaworski used to work for the board also would get me into things. So like one time there was the chicken. I think one time before Thanksgiving, I dressed up like a pilgrim and was standing there handing out candy as people walked in. And Andrea we came up with an idea for Thanksgiving the following year where I dressed up like a Thanksgiving feast as a table. So I think I was walking around with a table. over my shoulder. There's been a few different things. When I worked up with the board at Hill at the Line Industries there, I was Santa Claus like 3 or 4 times, I believe. Props to anyone who plays Santa Claus, because after about an hour, the beard and mustache are on your mouth. It gets to be a little uncomfortable, but
I could see that.
yeah.
Let's see here. You also have a collection of rubber ducks, though you do not own a Jeep. And something about started with you. Is that correct?
The rubber duckies?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think I've tried to throw them away actually a couple of times.
She has thrown a few of them away. She throws a lot of my stuff away, Nabil.
That's not true.
Like, my stuff is clutter,
Right.
and so I have to find places to hide it, or else it disappears.
Speaking of, tell us about your baseball card collection.
Oh, that's been around.
Is that clutter, or are those pieces of history? Would you?
I prefer not to answer.
I'm allowed a closet where I can hide them, if that tells you.
What is the prized possession among them, would you say?
That's the sad thing, is I don't really have too many. I've got some Ken Griffey Jr. rookies from back in the day that
Okay.
were the
like the upper deck one?
yes,
Yeah, excellent.
A couple
Okay.
of those. I've got some cards from the '60s, and like Frank Robinson. Just
Nice. Okay.
a few things from back in the day. But no, I started that in the late '80s, and I didn't even know. I had a neighbor. He had a massive baseball collection. He was like one of the old time Yankees fans. Had a special room upstairs, and I don't. Be interesting to know what all his collection had. But I've got a few things that I'm allowed to have around the home.
Sticking on the sports theme, if we can move to football, and Ms. Priest, I understand you have a favorite player. Is that who would you describe that favorite player to be?
You must be referring to Mr. Kelsey, Travis
Yeah,
Kelce.
that's what our research found. Talk about that.
Well,
I thought the connection was just the Taylor Swift thing, but I understand
No.
now he is your favorite.
so I
Started before Taylor, it sounds like.
Yes, and it really all started with the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, not the most recent one, but the one a couple years ago.
When the brothers,
Yes, when they played each other. And I was watching the pre-Super Bowl game and learned more about their story, and their mom was on being interviewed, and I just was intrigued by their story, and that whole game was just fun. And then shortly thereafter was when he started dating Taylor Swift.
whatever her name is, right?
In a world of a lot of doom and gloom, it just became a fun story to kind of attach to and follow. And who doesn't love a good romance, a good love story?
I think she's asking me.
like us, right?
Exactly, just like us.
Right on cue. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, and then true or false, there is a picture of Patrick Swayze hoisting you above his head. Is that true?
Well, partial truth. There is a strange picture that my husband created one random day of him holding me up.
Oh, it was you.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
me.
man. See, our research team.
People confuse me for Patrick Swayze.
Not the first time,
often,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Right.
But no, it was like a wedding photo, so I may have enhanced it a bit.
He's practicing his AI skills and trying to keep up with technology.
It's an art.
It is an art. You're right. Let's talk about at home. You have a lovely daughter, right?
Olivia,
Oh,
she
yeah.
is 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 2 dogs, Ruby, who is my favorite, and Charlie, who is also one of our dogs.
Charlie, hope you're not watching.
Yeah,
Charlie is a great dog. He's very different than Ruby. Not that Ruby was a good dog when she was
it's
little.
much more involved. Let's say.
He walks while he pees, and it's very
Oh
annoying.
my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, he does do that. It's amazing. His retention.
And Olivia's 10. 10 is a very interesting age. I have a 10-year-old myself. Share some favorite recent
Oh gosh.
maddening or magical moments with Olivia.
Well, I mean, she is amazing. Everyone says that about their kids, but she
Right.
really is. I mean, a lot of people say she's a good mix of our two personalities, but she's about 10 going on 25,
Yeah.
with
Yep.
some of the questions, but
Let's talk about the most recent question that she asked you that you avoided.
we need to go there. I don't know,
I can tell the high level version.
Guys, we need clicks, please.
Yeah.
She apparently Olivia had been asking her father how, now this is a little deep, how the boy's DNA gets inside the baby.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Everyone there
Wow.
at 10.
And
Sounds
John's
like-
response was,
I said, it's pretty complex, so I'll have to get some information. It was on the way to a play practice, driving over the bridge of Maumee to Perrysburg. And she's like, Dad, I'm just curious, I understand there's like DNA and something, but if they're not related, how does somebody's looks have the looks of their dad? And I was not really expecting that at 6:30 at night on the way to play practice.
My problems suddenly feel very minuscule
Yeah.
compared to having to answer
So-
a question like that.
So we've been going through
he
that.
did not answer the question ever. She actually asked me the other night at 9:30 at night, and I said, do you really want to know? And she said yes, and so I told her. And her life has not been the same ever since.
No. She hasn't been asking me anymore.
No.
So no, but she does a lot of extracurricular stuff. She's not afraid to talk to people. She'll ask anybody questions about their life, about their jobs, about what they do. She'll run around helping people, like around the school. She loves to help other people out. She's pretty fantastic.
Is she the same at home as well?
No.
See, that's what like Layla is supposedly the sweetest, kindest, most helpful, most loving, most whatever, and then she comes home and there's a different.
Yes, they
person.
they save all the good stuff for school, and then they come home and they don't want to be bothered. They don't want to talk.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. So when in the interview panel, as you now know, we go through our standard script. So I never really got to ask because, we're following the script. But what drew your interest in the position that you're in now to apply for it
Well,
and come back to the board?
I had been at my last job for 11 years, and I loved my job, great experience, but I just knew that I was ready for something more challenging, something different. And I also, though, wanted to make sure that I wasn't just making a rash decision, and I wanted it to be a job that I really believed in the mission of the work, that I knew would be a good fit for all of the sort of boxes that I needed to check. And the position of assistant superintendent was available. So I applied and thought, well, I know a lot of things about the board. I used to work there. I still have a lot of connections at the board. I still have a lot of good relationships at the board. I certainly value the mission of the work. And let's give it a shot. And then here I am.
And when Amy said, "Hey, I'm thinking about applying at the board," what did you? What was your advice or input or opinion?
I was just like, if that's something you really want to do, you should go for it. I mean, that's one of the great things about her, when she focuses in on something that she wants to do, she goes and does it and does really well with it. She was wonderful at her prior position at the Mental Health and Recovery Board. So I thought she would be a wonderful addition at her new job as well. So
We did talk a lot at home about, is this the right move for our family? Not just like my career, but our family as well, because now we're going to be working together. Our lives are going to cross paths, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We're in different buildings and we're doing different things, but obviously there's still going to be some overlap. And is that just the right direction for us? And John was always fully 100% supportive of that from the very beginning. So that was actually more important for me to make sure that we were both good and we were both on the same page, more so than it even was being offered the position. Like if it wasn't a good fit for our family, then it wouldn't have been a move
Sure.
that I did.
I think also being a little bit older helps too, because you just feel really comfortable and secure in making that kind of decision, maybe than when we're younger.
Talk about that further.
Well, just all the different things like she talked about. Sometimes some things may overlap, or some people may have certain feelings about certain decisions or whatever the decisions that are made.
Sure.
And I was just like, I don't really care. I'm, I'm 50, 51 now, actually. So I think you should just go ahead and go for it. I think it'll be fine.
Well, thanks for encouraging her to do so.
Well,
Seems to have turned out well.
yeah, I think it's turned out.
A year in, at least. John, what is a word or phrase that you most overuse? Oh, I mean, I should actually do this in reverse. What is a word or phrase that John you think overuses?
No.
I don't know. A word or a phrase. It's more of a gesture. He'll be like, well, he does that a lot. Well,
I do that a lot.
Okay, and then in reverse, what is a word or a gesture or a phrase that Amy overuses?
It's dangerous territory. I don't know. I really can't think of one off the top of my head, really.
nothing?
Nothing other than just an occasion when she'll get like a little frazzled with something. She'll say, well, just make a decision. Maybe something like that. But I can't think of anything outside of that.
Yes, like when we're arguing about where we're going to go out to dinner.
Yes.
He'll be like, well, we can go
Oh,
here or
the
here or
worst.
here. And I'm like, just decide.
Oh, well, the problem is she'll like just decide. And so then I'll decide. I'll pare it down from the 4 or 5 I offer.
And it'll be a wrong decision.
And she'll be like, yeah, I don't want that.
It's not true.
Yeah.
Did I have anything else here? Did we cover it all? Oh, how about this Black Hole Award? I forgot to ask about that.
Black Hole Award.
Yeah.
The what award?
I tend to have my own
John
system.
won the Black Hole Award
Yeah.
in his department.
I don't even know what that is.
Why don't you tell us?
Well, I have a system of organization that I feel like I inherited from my father because I used to see his desk as well, where it tends to be a pile of papers depending on where I left off.
Right.
And they tend to, grow
Sure.
over time. And then I have to go back and call back some of the paperwork to find out what I was working. It's just, I know where everything's at, but it tends to grow over time. So
Sure.
When did this award happen?
I think that's been a couple of years.
Oh.
I believe I most recently received the Most Chill Award.
Oh.
Now
Most
that
chill.
I could definitely
Yeah.
see. Let's see here. Okay, last one. If you were to die and come back as a person or a thing, we met a fellow Amy Priest that passed yesterday on your
Yes.
Google News
so
thing.
never put in your own name for Google Alerts
wow.
because I got one yesterday and I died. So
That's disheartening.
So, but anyway, that's what made me think of it because we had talked about reincarnation. So anyway, if you were to come back and die as a person or a thing, whom or what would you be?
For me, if you're asking me off the cuff,
Mm-hmm.
it would be Bruce Willis jumping out of an airplane,
Oh, man.
parachuting, maybe with some flames and things in the background.
That's really specific. I mean, it's not come back as Bruce Willis.
It just
Like,
came
in
to
this-
me.
Wow.
Well, I did that
I like
once,
that.
sort of, because
With the flame shooting
when we were in
out?
Las Vegas, which was planned to be her 40th birthday, because neither one of us had been to Las Vegas before.
Okay.
Right before we left, she found out she was pregnant with Olivia. So she was ill off and on. And on the day of her birthday, we were by the Stratosphere.
Okay.
The Stratosphere is the really tall structure that looks like the Needle in Seattle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's got the little roller coaster and stuff on top, but you can also jump off of it. So I was like, yeah, this is great. She's like, this is my birthday, you know. I said, well, you're not feeling too well. I'm going to do something.
Yes, so I sat by myself drinking a
Oh,
smoothie.
I thought you had jumped as well.
No, I
Yeah.
was sick a lot in Vegas.
Mhm.
And so I was sitting by myself, drinking a smoothie, waiting for John to appear off the top of the building. And then he jumped off.
Yeah.
And that was my 40th birthday.
That's my long roundabout way of saying Bruce Willis out of a plane.
Okay, Amy.
I've never thought about this before, but I guess this is probably a very cheesy answer, but I'm going to go with like a golden retriever because I love golden retrievers. And I feel like everybody loves dogs and golden retrievers, and they're just treated so well, and they're just so cute.
That's how we
and
got
cuddly.
Charlie, you know.
Charlie's not a golden retriever.
We know that because you had genetic testing to prove it. I came
Charlie's
home from work
supposed-
on a Friday. She's like, we're driving to Indiana tomorrow morning because we're getting a new dog.
Oh,
That is not
I'm like,
entirely true.
It is true. And I'm like, what? So the next morning we got up and drove back to Wabash County, Indiana to this
Wow.
golden retriever rescue, supposed. And it didn't look like a golden retriever to me, but she's like, oh. And,
It was a golden lab or a Labrador retriever and a golden mix.
but she was adamant he was a golden retriever. And so she had him tested. And he came back like
He's not a
7%
golden retriever.
golden retriever.
And that's how he became not your favorite.
Well, no, he's just not my favorite because remember I said he walks and pees on himself.
He walks in
So-
pieces. He ate the arm off of a recliner.
He did
He's done
eat
other
my chair one
things.
time.
Yeah.
I did think of one other thing I wanted to ask about. That's John's daily, top of the morning affirmations or thoughts. An example here. I'm just going to give a couple. Stop saying candy corn is the worst candy. Don't forget black licorice exists. I'm trying to find out a couple other good ones here.
These are the obnoxious Facebook posts that
I had a
everyone
friend who
thinks
took a
is funny.
vacation. Right. I had a friend who took a vacation to Italy. He rented a car and got caught in a hailstorm. It became al dente.
Yeah. That was
Solid.
good.
I got a new stick of deodorant. Directions say
You should not.
this is safe
you
now.
should
Okay.
not.
We'll let that one go. Let's see here. Yeah, how do these come about?
Where do
Do
you
you
find
run
the
them by-
time?
is
Where do
Amy
you
your
find the
ed-
time to post all these?
See, this is where she's like, oh, you must have all this free time at home. Actually, I usually just go on social media to connect with friends and things
Mhm.
and just to find out some information. But at times, social media can get a little negative.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
sometimes I'll just throw in silly, goofy stuff just to.
Example,
Mix it up.
I hate being accused of lollygagging when I'm very obviously dilly-dallying.
Yeah, I get accused of that a lot at home.
Case in point.
Yeah.
Thank you, friends. This has been awesome. I really appreciate both of your time and service at the board and at the board and other public places. This has been great fun. I appreciate you both indulging my request.
Well, thank you.
Any final thoughts or questions before we sign off here?
No, I just hope I look good. There's some good editing.
Yes, please make sure all of my gray hairs are edited out. But thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
And thank you for all that you do for the board as well, Mr. Nabil.
Yes, you've been a fantastic addition yourself.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. of
Sorry
both
that
of
the
you to say.
podcast world has been slow, that you had to resort to us. Hopefully.
Star power. Star power,
hopefully-
honey. That's why.
hopefully-
On that note, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for another edition of the Almost Monthly Podcast.